Hi. Could I possibly get any more energetic than that? I don't think so. Welcome, everyone, to a first reaction video. Another one, yet again. It's just all I do now. Okay, that's okay. I'm fine with that. These are videos where I listen to a full album front to back for the first time. I'm a musician. I'm a composer. I took 7-8 years of piano lessons with a lot of music theory thrown in there, so I can kind of get a little more right brain, left brain, a little more left brain on it, and kind of pick apart the music theory as I come across it. So I want to point out, because this seems to be a sticking point for a lot of different videos I make, my first reaction isn't necessarily my primary reaction, okay? That's why it's called first reaction, not review. My Queen is Dead video in particular by the Smiths, everyone's like, oh, you have no taste at all if you don't like this album. It's like, you need to be English to get it. And I'm like, guys, I like the album now. It's like, you gotta let things grow on you sometimes, and the Smiths is certainly one of those for me. So if I don't like this album or feel neutral on it, whatever it might be, take it with a grain of salt, because things might change. I might listen to more of it and it'll grow on me. Who knows? So it's been like 10 days since I've recorded a reaction. I know I've kind of put videos out after the fact, but yeah, I recorded like 10 days ago, and it's been a while. I've been busy, been doing other things, but I'm back at it. So today we're doing the Stone Roses, and then in the next video we will do the Smiths. We're going to do a little pickup job from their last 2 compilation albums, /2 official, I suppose you could say. The World Won't Listen and Louder Than Bombs. We're just going to go through all the songs on there that we haven't heard yet and just finish the Smiths off in a video that way. So that's what's next. But for now, The Stone Roses by The Stone Roses. This is a band/album that I've been recommended quite a bit based off of what I've heard from the Smiths. Everyone's like, oh, you gotta do Stone Roses next. And then they keep saying you gotta do Oasis after that, which I've heard Oasis's first 2 albums, so I don't need to do Oasis. I'm curious to see what this is like, because genre, apparently Manchester, which is a Manchester kind of genre, very specific. Jingle pop, neo-psychedelica, alternative rock. 49 minutes, came out in 89. That's what's interesting to me, is 89. This is like 3 years after the Smiths, if I'm not mistaken. So we have our work cut out for us, guys. I don't think I've heard any of these songs. Pretty sure none of the names ring a bell, and if I have heard them, I have forgotten them. So let's just jump straight in. I Want to Be Adored is the first track. Wow me. Blow me away, Calgon. Can I just say that this album art sucks? I mean, like, on an objective level, it's like the font is kind of ugly, and like there's just lemons, and I can't tell if that's a map or a Jackson Pollock painting. Like the France colors or whatever there, it's like, it's a little ugly. It's a little ugly. It's just an observation. I like it so far. I love this instrumentation, but like a little rough around the edges, but just barely. This is really fascinating, actually, because like I hear like the Manchester angle. Like I hear the UK in there, but I also hear like this shoegaze, like the Galaxy 500 angle is in there too, where it's like this late 80s shoegazy dream poppy thing going on. But you still have that. There is a Smiths-esque ethos in there as well. So there's this like there certainly is this culmination happening here, and it's very obvious when you actually like do know what's being culminated. You know, huh? I think this is going to be an interesting listen. Wow. What a way to start it off. I don't know if that's a good tell or not as to how the rest of the album is going to be, but yeah, like I said in the song, this is an interesting amalgamation and natural progression of this genre, this type of music in this time period. Yeah, it's like musical genetics, man. Okay, so She Bangs the Drums is next. This is a single, I think. I also just noticed that Peter Hook produced this album, part of it. One song in specific, Elephant Stone. Okay, well, is that song even? It's just on the UK or the US release. What release do I have? I have the UK release that has 11 tracks. So, she bangs the drums. Oh no. Nice. Wow. It's a pretty good rock song, man. Man or woman. Yeah, that was pretty nice. It was pretty nice. I'm really glad that this album is going down easy, and I'm not like, oh my gosh, he's singing weird, and I just can't get it. No, this is, I feel like I've been prepared. Like, I don't know if I would have been able to stomach this as easily if I hadn't listened to the Smiths and Galaxy 500 prior. Because they kind of set the stage a little bit for me to listen to something like this. So that's pretty cool. So I've decided I will listen to these 2 extra songs that were on the US release, because I feel guilty if I don't. So on the US release, this is where Elephant Stone would fall in. So let's see what we got. Elephant Stone. This is the Peter Hook produced track. Holy crap. Can I just say that when I'm gonna give you an example. When a track comes in with this awesome drum line, like this song, for example, Be Above It by Tame Impala, and you hear like this fantastic drum percussion bit intro the song, that always really sticks out to me. So good on you, Elephant Stone. Dude, that was so good. Wow. What I really liked about that one actually was how the song itself felt really simple, but the instrumentation was really complex. Like, the structure of the song and the instrumentation was complex, but like the theory side of it, like the chords and the melody, was just really simple and went down really easy. But at the same time, there's a lot going on that's really like catches your attention. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Dig that one. Next one, Waterfall. If you name a song Waterfall, it has to be just the best. I would say that was the weakest song so far, but it's still good. It's still fine. Um, just a tiny bit repetitive. It's a tiny bit like, that ambient mode where it's just like you kind of turn your brain off a little bit and it just kind of plays itself out, which, like, I would argue, like, the Wild Nothing albums, like Gemini, is a kind of like turn your brain off and just kind of let it flow. Because if you actively listen, it's pretty boring. So that song was kind of like that. So I'm not like complaining. It's just the other songs were so involved that you could focus on and pay attention to it. Whereas this song wasn't quite like that. But that's okay. Don't stop. I wonder what this guitar sounds like. The forwards, the right ways around. Got Twin Peaks up in here. See, the issue with this kind of music is the gimmick gets in the way of the music for me. So while the song itself sounds okay, the fact that I can tell that it's reversed is like really taking me out of it, to the point where it's like I probably won't listen to this again in any serious capacity. But it's fine just to like listen to it now and admire the craftsmanship. I couldn't do this. Yeah, that was a reverse song. So next song, Bye Badman. Uh-oh. That one was just kind of okay. It was just kind of there and gone. I didn't mind it a whole lot, but it didn't do anything super special, I don't think. Elizabeth, my dear, this one's like 53 seconds. Um, so is that like that's the that's like the Scarborough Fair was cantatile style, whatever it is, melody or music, but with different lyrics on the top of it. I don't know much about the history of that song to know exactly what this is. But okay, there it is. Song for my sugar spun sister. So I think that song had moments. Um, I'm kind of realizing that this isn't a band I'll probably listen to much in my off time, but it's one where I'm like, yeah, it's good. I don't feel this like personal attachment. Maybe save for songs like "She Bangs the Drums" and "Elephant Stone." I think those have appealed to me personally, but the last several like "Waterfall," "Don't Stop," "Bye Man," and then this one are just kind of. That's sort of how I feel. Um, but yeah, let's keep trucking forward. We got a few songs left to go. Made of Stone, not Elephant Stone, just Made of Stone. It's a very dynamic song. There's actually like the British aspect of this music almost holds it back a little bit because there's something so like forward thinking about it that like when I hear just like this UK drawl over it, like this UK accent, it like I'm getting like this like disparate feeling where it's like the music is up here, but like the vocal delivery is back here, and it's really bizarre because it's like it sounds like a late Beatles album vocally, but then musically it's in the 90s. So I'm just kind of like, what? Huh? So that's weird. I think that one was pretty good actually. It's very dynamic, very all over the place. The I remember back in my "If You're Feeling Sinister" reaction, like Dylan at the movies, I thought like the verses of that song clash with the chorus of that song because the chorus is like this brooding, dark, driving thing, and then the verse is like doom doom doo 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 doom, and it's like this like weird shift back and forth. Whereas the verses are darker than the chorus, and like the transitions into and out of them are much more fluid. I think that's because the instrumentation stays very similar as far as like the mixing goes, and the instrument choices stay the same, even though the harmonies and the melodies differ. So I think that's an interesting tactic, and I think it worked better in this instance. So yeah, decent, pretty good. Shoot You Down is track 10 technically. This is 4 tracks to go. Let's go. Shoot the plane down. This is chill. Man. There's something very composed about these songs in terms of, all right, this instrument comes in here, this instrument leaves here, and just it's very quick because it's like a rock song. It's a rock album. So it's like, all right, the drums will drop out here, and we'll just do this little acapella bit, and guitar chime in here, do this thing. All right, change the instrumentation. But it's not like crazy. It could be much worse than this. It could be much more chaotic, but instead it's just very quick rhythmically in terms of instrumentation. So I don't feel like I've seen that in music a whole lot. So that's pretty compelling to see that kind of structure to songwriting. I want you to know now the time has come, it'll all work out. That was pretty good as well. Last two songs are songs that I would listen to again. So there was like a chunk in the middle of 1, 2, 3, 4, not counting Elizabeth, My Dear, 4 songs where I'm just like, not quite my thing, but fine. But now we're kind of gearing back up into things that I like, so that's cool. This is The One. This is 80s. Like, this kind of song sounds like it could be in like a John Hughes movie. And that's what I find really interesting about the 80s, is that like there's something really kind of cold about the 70s. Rock in the 70s was really cynical, really like disconnected. There's either the cynical rock and metal, or there was like the cozy folk music, and then obviously psychedelica. But this kind of music couldn't have existed in the 70s. Like, there's something very like warm about this, while also being kind of angsty, and like outsider kind of music, which is why I say like John Hughes. So it's very subtle. It's very subtle, but it's there. I just find that really interesting. The intricacies as far as like the historical aspects of music go. like the jangly sounds in there mixed with just like this thunderous percussion. So I think that song could have been like a minute shorter. Like if it was just like 30 to 60 seconds shorter, like perfect. But it overstayed its welcome by like a tiny bit. But I dug that one actually. I think that's pretty sick. So sick. All right. I Am the Resurrection. This is the UK release final track, but we have Fool's Gold after it as the US release final track. So, penultimate track. The song is 8 minutes long. Cheers. Great mixing. See, this is what I mean by like structure. The structure of these songs is so dynamic where it's like, all right, we're shifting over here and doing something just almost completely different. But it doesn't go too far. It doesn't go too far. It keeps it fresh and exciting. That's cool. Suddenly we're Pavement. Suddenly we're Crooked Rain, Crooked Rain. I understand why everyone wants me to go to Oasis after this. I see the connection. Wow. What a song. Yeah, that's a pretty good finale, actually. So I'm sort of surprised that they went with Fool's Gold as a 9-minute, almost 10-minute track for the US release finale. So I'm interested to see how this plays over I Am the Resurrection as the last track. So let's see. So I can tell that I Am the Resurrection was supposed to be the final track. I think. This feels like bonus track stuff. So I'm gonna kind of take it as that. I'm gonna take I Am the Resurrection as the end of the album, and this is just extra. That's what the bass is. That's the bass. It's funky, man. That's funky. This is a pretty good track, though. It's mixed great. So I'm obviously listening to the almost 10-minute long version, but there's a 4-minute 15-second version and a 3:55 version, which cuts like that's like 5 minutes out, so almost 6 minutes out, in some cases, which is interesting. I'm curious as to what the other versions sound like, because this seems really extensive, but yeah, I'm digging it. I hear battles in this. What's this song? Atlas by Battles. I can totally hear that in this. Perfect. Great. That was fantastic. Yeah, I can totally see that as like an extra song. I don't even know like where I would put that in the album to make sense. But yeah, that's good just as like a nice like 10-minute dance track by itself. Fantastic. Okay, so woof. That's the Stone Roses, guys. At least what's worth listening of the Stone Roses. Wow. There's a lot of good stuff here. There's a lot of great stuff. What I find really compelling about this is how I had never heard of the Stone Roses before. This is obviously like a niche band. They did 2 albums. Second one didn't do as good as the first, as far as I'm aware. And then they were just gone, more or less. Yet, you can totally see what this did for people, because it's like, it's people like Johnny Marr from the Smiths who listen to obscure stuff and then pioneer something. So it's like, I could see how this pioneered Oasis. I could see artists in the 90s being like, yeah, I listened to the Stone Roses. And then they paved the way and were like really well renowned. And they're like, oh, look at these guys. But it's like Stone Roses. You have them to thank. So I'm always fascinated by bands that are kind of the genesis of a movement of music, but like a really unknown genesis, something really subdued that not many people know about. So to everyone who suggested this band to me, I say thank you, because this is a really cool find, I think. There's, like I said, the 4 songs in the middle, Waterfall, Don't Stop, Bye Badman, and Sugar Spun Sister, they're fine, but they're not my thing. Whereas like I Want to Be Adored, She Bangs the Drums at the beginning, and then Made of Stone, Shoot You Down, This Is the One, I Am the Resurrection, and Fool's Gold also in there. Great, really good. I don't know how much I'll come back to this album, more or less, but I can say right now, fantastic. It's a fantastic album. Really accessible, but also really diverse, really interesting, really esoteric. It's hard to say if this is an easy album for a lot of people to listen to, but I think I came to it at more or less the right time. So that's pretty cool. I dig. So, Stone Roses, done. We're good. Awesome. Cool. So next video will be the Smiths. We're gonna do a cleanup job. Do The World Won't Listen and Louder Than Bombs, the last 2 compilation albums, and we'll finish the Smiths off. So let me know what you guys think of this album in the description, in the comments. Let me know what other albums you think I should listen to. Give me suggestions. I may or may not listen to them. I've been doing some live streams recently too. So if you subscribe to my channel, you can see when I do live streams. They'll pop up in your feed. I usually do it in the evening, kind of when I've been doing it, or on my days off. I'll just do it whenever, like morning, afternoon. Sometimes it's best to do it like during quiet time for my daughter, so like mid-afternoon, evening, usually when I try to do it. But we've been just talking about like future reactions, stuff I've been listening to recently, and we just kind of talk about music. So it's been a nice little hangout. So if you subscribe, you can participate in that when it happens. So let me know what you think I should listen to. Pardon me. And stay tuned for the Smiths coming up next. Bye.